as always, we want to begin with some slides that we prepared for the call today. And Hattie will lead us off on those. And then after the slides, we'll have time for questions and shares. Would love to hear how the practice and everything is going for you.
We said last time we'll speak a bit more about the 12 empowerments. And obviously, the introduction is always inseparable to that. What is open intelligence? A question that comes up, of course, also after the introduction. But okay, what is open intelligence? When we stop thinking just for a moment, what remains? There's a alertness, clarity, openness, the power to know, and spacious open intelligence, naturally present. And obviously thoughts appear again, and the same open intelligence is equally present with thoughts and without thoughts. So with thoughts and without thoughts, that's the power of open intelligence. We don't need to actually stop thinking. Sometimes it's initially just easier to recognize that there's a natural presence, open spaciousness, something about us that is just being, that is just there. But the power of this practice here is to acknowledge this natural presence of open intelligence while we are thinking, doing things, speaking, being busy, or whether we are relaxed in nature, sitting and meditating, or doing nothing. So open intelligence is equally present. And so when we relax as what's looking, when we relax as what's sensing and seeing, then we discover love, wisdom, and open intelligence. We relax as what's looking. And with short moments, we decide and choose to recognize open intelligence with short moments of open intelligence. And this ties in here with that we fundamentally have two ways of using our mind. And the first one is we focus on our thoughts and emotions and descriptions, sensations, and elaborate on them, describe what we are thinking and feeling, try to make sense out of it, analyze it. And as everyone probably knows here, these we call these data, all the emotions, thoughts, sensations, anything we can describe, basically belief systems. And so the focus is like habitually learned to focus on the descriptions, overlooking open intelligence. Open intelligence is present while we're even elaborating on everything, but it's not recognized. We don't know about it. And in the other approach, how we use our mind, we recognize the nature of mind, open intelligence. It's basically the focus is a recognition of open intelligence, which is then naturally more and more instinctive once we know about it. Once we're introduced to open intelligence and also gain confidence in open intelligence, it becomes more and more obvious. And that's the choice we make in every moment, basically, to recognize open intelligence rather than elaborating and focusing on our thoughts and emotions. Okay, we'll go into the 12 empowerments, and maybe I'm going to start here.
Sure. Yeah, we had questions about that last week, so wanted to share. So the 12 empowerments are a foundational teaching that we have in short moments, and we'll go through it in sections here. So the first section, you could say, is empowerments 1 to 3, and they help us to understand how we emphasize our thoughts and emotions and how this causes suffering. So it really looks at how most of us as humans at this day and age in our culture have learned to live life, have learned to use our mind, and how that plays out in our daily life, in our relationships, especially in our relationship with ourselves, but also in our relationship with others. At the same time, we'll also see that all the data, so the thoughts, emotions, and sensations, aren't the enemy. They aren't something that we need to conquer or to subjugate, to get rid of, to micromanage. We learn to see in our direct experience that all the data are the dynamic energy of open intelligence. So they aren't really something that's opposing open intelligence. That's something that I used to think, depending on the kind of practice I might have been involved in, there was always something I had to do with the data. Had to have better thoughts or no thoughts or spiritual thoughts, had to have no emotions or only good emotions, had to get rid of my conditioned physical, like bodily reactions to things. Here we see that all the data, no matter what they are, no matter how they play out, are the dynamic energy of open intelligence, and nothing need be done about them. It's a huge relief. So that's essentially the foundation that we set in empowerments 1, 2, and 3. Open intelligence is our basic nature or identity. Open intelligence brings us back to our original condition of benefit. So open intelligence already is our basic nature. It's not something that we attain, that we create, or that we cultivate to be better or bigger or stronger. The only thing that changes is that we recognize it. So this practice really isn't about efforting to have more open intelligence. It's a practice that keeps us coming back to recognize our true nature, our original condition. And from that, we recognize that naturally there is a power to be of benefit to ourselves and to others. When short moments of open intelligence are repeated many times, the recognition of open intelligence becomes automatic and uninterrupted. It is found to be stable in itself. By the power of open intelligence, we are not distracted by trying to control the flow of data. Yeah, so the recognition of open intelligence is the single practice here. We recognize ourselves as open intelligence. We recognize that's what's looking, what's listening, what's sensing, all our physical sensations, our bodily sensations, all that is sensed or noticed or known by open intelligence itself. And it can stabilize itself because open intelligence itself is always already present. So that's how it stabilizes, is we recognize what's always here and stable already. Resting naturally as open intelligence for short moments during daily activities. We can take short moments of open intelligence while walking, talking, washing up, speaking, running, shopping, working. So no matter what it is that we do, we can take a short moment. Like right here, you can take a short moment. We really see that no matter when we remember to look, so to speak, and recognize open intelligence, we find it. It's immediately here because it is what's doing all the daily living, what's doing all the daily tasks. It's just that it doesn't recognize itself. And then in a short moment, it recognizes itself. That's it. So very simple, coming back to our true nature in our direct experience as a direct recognition. That's the single practice. And then weaving that throughout all aspects of daily life.
Okay. Open intelligence is something about us that is always stable and clear. And yeah, the crystal ball is a great one. It shows that the crystal ball is stable, clear, indestructible, no matter what appears within it, good or bad. Just like the crystal ball is unaffected by whatever images appear, the nature of mind, open intelligence remains lucid and clear, regardless of data, the thoughts and emotions and sensations that arise within it. Powerful metaphor, always love it. And it shows the indestructibility, the stability, the clarity of our mind that is naturally present, that is obvious in a short moment, just taking a short moment. Initially, it might just be, yeah, something we are trying to conceptually understand or try to get into some kind of state or something. But all of this just comes about naturally in an instinctive way. And while we are going through these slides, we are still in the themes of empowerment 1, 2, 3, even though it's threaded throughout all empowerments, the basics and the aspects of open intelligence, but this is the foundation laid in the 12 empowerments, and it's supported to take short moments and to use the four mainstays, the support system, so that this open intelligence becomes more instinctive throughout our day. And yeah, we rely on open intelligence rather than emphasizing thoughts and emotions. And then we recognize and experience the soothing energy and clarity of open intelligence. Also, in the first empowerments, we look at the ways we deal with thoughts and emotions, how we indulge them, how we avoid them, replace them, basically manage them, instead of leaving data as they are, which is the fourth way of handling thoughts and emotions. And that's empowered by a short moment. So it goes into those, but not only in a theoretical way, obviously, that goes into those seeing, well, how am I indulging data, thoughts and emotions? How am I avoiding it? In what relationships, circumstances with myself? Replace those thoughts and emotions. So it's a very powerful inquiry, basically. And so then we get to know the fourth way. We take short moments instead of emphasizing data, instead of indulging, replacing, or avoiding data, basically, which is all emphasizing data in different ways. And a choice we can make, knowing that there's a choice, actually. Yeah, and then seeing that, yeah, it's a bit of a longer part, the empowerments 1, 2, 3. I guess we will go through the 12 empowerment themes in maybe 2 meetups here. But the breeze in the air is another metaphor that is like essential recognition that all data are inseparable from open intelligence. And it's something that we really don't need to work hard on to understand, because it's something that instinctively becomes obvious. But I like breeze in the air. When we recognize, feel the breeze in the air, you can't really take the air out of the breeze, basically, but it's inseparable from the air, but it's still a breeze. So the same with the dynamic energy of open intelligence, the data are inseparable from open intelligence. There's only open intelligence and its dynamic energy as its expression. We feel, we think. So it's not the point to not feel anymore, not think anymore. And we never know what we feel next, what we feel right now. It's unpredictable. We have countless feelings and thoughts throughout our day upon waking, and then we dream as well. So sometimes. So yeah, there's always a display, and it's the dynamic energy of open intelligence. And that becomes more and more instinctively obvious without thinking about it. Oh, okay. We're going back to the introduction. Something happened here. I'll stop sharing for a moment. What is open intelligence? Well, it fits actually to how it always goes. And we are introduced to open intelligence. We go through the first couple of empowerments, and we think, what is actually open intelligence again? And that's that's the power of taking short moments. We don't need to really think about it. I'm just gonna I guess we can pause here. What do you think, Jochen? I mean, I know that we are just in empowerment 1 to 3 right now. And we could go back after any questions and shares. Hello, everyone. Nice to be here. We can see, are there any questions so far or maybe shares? And I know many of you are actually in the empowerment. Yes, Tom.
Yeah, I would like to share something. Yeah, something in the invitation mail struck me, and some things you just mentioned about emotions. Yeah, in the last few weeks I had some challenging situations, and when I look at myself, a lot of emotions come up, and stuff like guilt, shame, regret, and anger. And in moments like that, I get pretty dark feelings and dark emotions, and I seem to get tangled up in those. And in situations like that, for me, it's really difficult to step out of that and to take a short moment in a moment like that. So I was actually wondering if you could comment on that, or maybe even give some advice on how to sort of be able to take a short moment.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing openly, and that's in what empowerment are you at?
I have finished Empowerment 2.
Okay, great. Yes, perfect. Yeah. Well, that's a very, very normal that initially, and especially with like more difficult data, which those that you describe, these are data where we feel like a short moment almost is impossible to feel or to recognize. And I asked about the empowerment just because starting with empowerment 4, which is an empowerment that really will go into more deeper into the practicalities to support, but how do I actually take short moments when it's difficult? It will start to support those more difficult circumstances for now, and that's where also the four mainstays basically come in, because sometimes we can't take a short moment. It feels too far away, too difficult, because the feelings and emotions can feel so heavy, overwhelming. There's no light. There's no way out, and it feels like. And so gaining confidence in open intelligence and practicing in times when it's a bit easier, and when it's difficult, maybe listen to a talk or continue with the 12 empowerments if that's possible in that moment. Otherwise, reach out to the trainer. So that is more like not even struggle to take a short moment. Other than that, even if you are taking short moments and you feel it's not working, it is working. It will give you actually, it's like it just adds one short moment, even if it feels like it's not working. So there will be more confidence, and it's working even if we don't noticing it. So very normal for those things to not feel like it's changing or even benefiting at all, especially initially. Yeah. So you'll see over time when you continue, you're on 2, that's perfect. So it's like It's a bit about the inseparability, that everything is beneficial. Well, no way is that obvious when we feel not good. It's like, how is that beneficial? It doesn't really make any sense. That's okay too. It'll all come going further. Number 3 will emphasize actually a little bit more the 4 mainstays. So that's actually helpful, because when we struggle, the other mainstays can be easier, like just being here, you might notice. It's easier to take a short moment. So those are the times when taking short moments is perfect, because it's like investing in short moments. In the easier times is a good idea, is a perfect way, not in the difficult times. Some people remember short moments in difficult times more. And even if nothing changes, it will do something. Yeah. Going into empowerment 4, you'll actually have a space and an empowerment, so 4, 5, actually until 9, basically, where all of these difficult circumstances, data about oneself, like you shared, have space and get basically more open intelligence, warmth. Yeah. Yes, so it's good. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Paul, yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Tom, thank you for your honesty and humility. It's a beautiful thing. My question, well, first off, I feel like every day is Christmas now that I'm doing the empowerments. I started on 8 yesterday. All of them up till now have been fun, fun, fun. And this morning I'm in 8 and I'm going, uh-oh, the rubber's meeting the road. Oh boy, here we go. And for those that might not be familiar, the rubber that's going to meet the road is I've got to address a 10-year-long struggle with a friend, co-worker, and an estranged daughter that I have not known what to do with. I've done everything I know to do to reconcile and walk in love and relationship, but it's not happened. And so now, Empowerment 8, we're going to deal with it and get past something that's been long standing and painful and egregious. So it's been like Christmas, but even Empowerment 8's like Christmas if I take the right outlook on it. It's just all beautiful and wonderful. But the one question I have, and I've been kind of tossing this out to Yoken before, the even the negative data, the afflictive states, when looked at and considered, are dynamic energy and positive. If you could talk about how to view the afflictive state, like Tom's talking about, how do I look at that and go, this is good, this is positive, because open intelligence is doing XYZ with it? I really am not clear.
Yes. Yes, that's a great question. And thank you for sharing also openly how you're going through the 12 empowerments. And about the Christmas feeling, I had to laugh because I had the same thought that time when I went through the 12 empowerments. Afterwards, I thought, oh, it's like Christmas. But just because I am used to Christmas, obviously, in my culture, plus I loved it always. I still love it. And as a child, and but it had this kind of joy and peace. Yeah. Anyway, so yes, and then empowerment 8 and 9 go another deepening, and like I said, the rubber hits the road kind of thing. Yeah, brings up another depth of data and relationships. But what you're saying about the dynamic energy of open intelligence is always entirely beneficial. It starts in empowerment too to be mentioned how everything is beneficial, and we really have difficulties to see that. And conceptually, I think the easiest way conceptually to look at it is that every moment is an opportunity to recognize open intelligence, which is, I would say, only a little fraction of what is meant actually in the how everything is naturally beneficial. Because obviously conceptually we can see that it only satisfies a little bit. And but instinctively, and what that means is that we really can't wrap our head in our thinking around how that is beneficial. And I think really going through 8 and 9 will highlight it a bit more, but it really comes in the deepening of a recognition that shows that the energy of open intelligence is simply labeled, right? We label everything. And it's good to label. We do that also in the empowerments because we need to know what everything is. Empowerment 4 says, like that story of the 10,000 books, and that store lady has no, well, the owner has no idea what anything is. Then it gets confusing, the accounting and everything. But then makes a database, gets clear what are all our belief systems and our thoughts and emotions, and we can gain some clarity. However, everything is labeled and everything has a dynamic energy. So when for example, I'm angry and I just emphasize the anger, I lash out or I hide away, the energy has the power to respond, has the power to see, has the power of wisdom. Without it being conceptually fabricated, it's instinctive and it's useful in that way. So anger, emotions turn to wisdom, basically. Emotions are wisdom, but it's instinctive, and it comes about in deepening of the recognition of every moment when we are angry. For example, I'm using now anger as a datum, could be anything else, but I rest in the energy of that kind of what we feel in the body, mind, everywhere, right? And that we are ready to lash out, or we are ready to fight or flight, basically, one way. And so this energy, when resting as it is useful, is beneficial, has wisdom power, has ability to see. And so that's with every energy, because that's all energy of open intelligence, labeled, and then in that way limited, in that way neutralized, or taken into harm ourselves or others.
Yeah, I think this morning I had a taste of the meaning of that, in that these what's so-called negative data, they provide a contrast for what is the open intelligence that I am. It's like the open intelligence. I get my view is open intelligence is love and peace and wisdom, but also the opposites of that. But we all want to move to love, peace, and wisdom. And the moments of difficulty, negativity, provide a beautiful contrast for that which we're kind of most eager to experience. So I'm going, okay, this is good. I get to, you can taste bitterness. You can only enjoy, matter of fact, I wrote down, this came to me. The way to appreciate the sweetness of true love is to taste the bitterness of discord and disharmony.
Yeah.
I appreciate love and peace when I've tasted difficulty and disharmony and discord.
Mm.
So it's kind of the only way to know it is to know the other. So, but thank you, Kathy.
Yeah, but thank you for sharing. Yes, that's good. It's like being open towards these negativity data is also really almost a relief. Uh-huh. Yeah. Nice. Thank you for sharing, Paul. Yeah. Mhm. Mm. Yes, Robert. Uh-huh.
I've been thinking about something like this weekend we had visitors, and one of the visitors' family was my grandson, who we think we're twins on some level. Of course, my being a lot older, but he's a beautiful young man, and so he's got some problems in his. He's got different problems, but one of them is he had a knee problem. He has a knee problem. And he asked me to do some work. And for those who don't know what I've done in the past, I'm retired, but I was a chiropractor for 40 years. And here's the observation. Over that time, I didn't do conventional kind of chiropractic, more forceful stuff, which it was fun. But I didn't do that. I used all gentle work. And during that period of time, I studied a lot of different procedures to help people with the connection between their physical problems and possible things that have happened in their life. Well, I didn't delve too much into the past thing, even then. Now, but however, so one of the questions I have is, are not all of these different approaches to helping people solve or eliminate their different things that have happened and how they're related to their physical problems? And what my question is, aren't those, I have two questions, but this one is, are those particular aspects of these different approaches, like one of them was called neuroemotional technique, very powerful to help people, and they all and people liked it a lot. And are they not too part of open intelligence? Yeah. So I realize that as now that I've been studying this teaching. But on some level, the question is, are by people not doing this teaching, which is fine too. I mean, I don't push anyone into it, but is on some level, am I helping them avoid a certain aspect of what, I don't know if I'm helping them avoid a certain aspect within their being, that when I clear this, certain things, and I do some tapping with it and stuff like that, is it not supporting their avoidance, or am I also doing work that is helping to avoid maybe the crux of the matter, which is if everything's included, then their unhappiness within their own being is part of open intelligence. But the question is, I guess, am I supporting an avoidance of that without encouraging open intelligence to them?
That's totally get your question, Bob.
Yeah.
And you know, it's something I thought a lot also about myself, like even in relation to myself, like if I feel uncomfortable and I make myself comfortable, is that avoiding discomfort? You know, like that's essentially the question. And um, the answer to this is, again, I mean, ideally just coming to our own conclusion through the practice, right? But we'll always be doing something. Like as humans, we live in a time-space continuum, and we'll be spending that time doing something in the space, right? And so part of the result of the practice is that we know more and more what to do and how to be of benefit to beings. And not everything is geared directly to the recognition of open intelligence. We're not just all walking around and talking now about recognize open intelligence, like that's all we ever talk about. Or we stop eating because we're hungry, because we can also just take short moments and rest with hunger. It's not really that. It's just that for us as a, or like if I take my work as a coach, or, in when I think of like psychotherapy or doctors or like anybody who helps people essentially in one way or another, um, the biggest or the most important question there is what it's like for you, like your inner state of being as you do the work. Like that's all you really need to, so to speak, worry about, I wanted to say, but you don't even need to worry about that. Like just that's all we need to look at is, am I resting naturally while I do this? And then trust that whatever comes from that state of being is the perfect expression of this alignment with your true nature. And there I've met some really gifted healers, and I'm so grateful that I have them in my life, because like when my back goes out, I can just have them put it back in place, and I've, through their help, I've learned to do that myself to a good extent. I have somebody who looks after my like physical well-being. I have people I can talk to if I have things I can't wrap my head around. Like we're just living human life. And as part of human life, we face ailments, illnesses, states of discomfort. And we just, like all animals, human animals want to be comfortable and safe and, belong somewhere and not feel threatened, not feel cold, not feel hungry. And so we look after ourselves and hopefully after each other. So it's a very simple human life in a way. And we weave the practice in. Ultimately, like in an open intelligence benefit society, you could say, where everybody's recognizing open intelligence. Like imagine that. What if that could be a possibility? I think we'll still have doctors and practitioners. We won't just all resolve into clear, pure light and never have any issues again. We're walking around in human animal bodies and we look after them. So it depends a lot on our, like what we see in the person. And you shared that before. Just the fact that you didn't see them as broken, so to speak, or as things that need, or as beings, creatures that need to be fixed and put into something like very different, but you more help them relax into like a deeper ease of being with your practice. That's wonderful. So
that's very cool what you just said. And I think you alluded to something that when I'm working with someone, I'm just very much at ease because it's become part of my nature to just be there, to do exactly what you said, to be more comfortable, and if this works, whatever I'm doing is working to make you more comfortable, then I've done my job.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I see, Wendy, you raised your hand as well. Happy to hear from you. You're still muted though.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect.
Oh, let me see. Maybe I can do this too. Ah, there we go. Hi. Gosh, it's just amazing what everybody is sharing because it's very similar to things I've been wrestling with a little bit and very helpful. I really appreciate everybody's sharing. And first, I just want to say that I'm really grateful to you both, grateful for this, grateful for the 12 empowerments, which I'm just on 2. I'm really grateful to Kati, who, when I was trying to explain to her why I couldn't begin the 12 empowerments because I was so busy wrestling with a particular data that I had to handle, of course, before I could have the space to do it. And I just really appreciated that, Kati, you were, I knew conceptually that the answer was 12 empowerments can only help your situation. But she just supported me wherever I was at the moment. And that was really generous and gracious and comforting. So thank you. But and it's been really amazing just to take short moments and to see, to witness, and that's my favorite part of all of it is just the little by little seeing what I experience and how that incrementally I think grows and sort of becomes easier to access. But in this particular situation that's particularly challenging for me, I think everybody sort of touched on it. It feels so small and petty. It feels I know it's completely useless activity and energy on my part, but I feel stuck with it. And that is, if there's a particular relationship with a very close person in my life, in this case, a particular friend, and I know this friend has this tendency because she's told me that she uses this technique with her husband to avoid dealing with him. So she'll just sort of ignore him, pretend she didn't hear it, kind of thing, pretend it's not going on. And in this particular case, it feels like I'm the one that dance is happening with. I could be making it all up. There's a real possibility of that. But when I try to rest with what feels like hurt inside, there's some part of me that doesn't want to let go of it. And kind of to what I think Robert was just sharing, kind of like, do you know what? I don't want, like, what's the feeling? I don't want to just rest and allow something that feels disrespectful to just be me, envelop it with this allowing love. And I know conceptually that approach would yield a better result, but I'm just like to ask you, inside of me, there's a desire in that moment to not rest, to wrestle instead of rest, to like just dig in. And it almost feels like what I remember having braces and my teeth would hurt so much when they get tightened. And I'd bite down on them to make them hurt even more, because afterward, somehow it was a little relief for a while. I'm doing something very odd in these moments where I know resting would provide a perspective and probably a way through and guidance that would be far better than what I'm doing. And yet I don't want to in that moment. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing. I'm sure many can relate. I can totally understand, relate, and how, well, first of all, going through the empowerments will, again, show you that even when we rest, we don't necessarily, that doesn't mean that we don't take action or like, that have to be always nice to everyone, so to speak. Love doesn't mean that the way we respond and are and with people. So that's maybe a first thing that happens initially, that we think when we rest, yeah, that love, because that hurt, it wants to also be seen as open intelligence and not just go away and be love, even though everything is open intelligence and love. So what I would suggest, just going through the empowerments, where then this relationship will be probably a main, will be on these 12 empowerments a lot as an example of how to actually allow yourself to rest without feeling like I need to ignore what happened or something. At the same time, it will give us more safety and ability to rest, allow the hurt, and let go of the struggle of trying to hold on to something, basically, which will come about naturally. It's not like, oh, I need to let go, but I can't let go. You can take a short moment not wanting to let go, because that's okay, as it is. Just not want to. Take a short moment. That's all you need. The result doesn't need to be, I want to. The result is only, I take a short moment. So that takes off the pressure of needing to feel a certain way. You don't need to want to rest. You don't need to want to let go of hurt to rest. So you can rest with not wanting to let go. You don't need to understand anything either. Why? It just basically adds more data. Might be some wisdom at one point, but you'll know then. So the next empowerments will lead through how you're avoiding resting in this case. I'll make it more clear, but it won't be like psychological. It will be just very simple. Yes. So I think also getting to know not wanting, being also an appearance of open intelligence, is always helpful. Resistance, not wanting, not liking are things we think are things we shouldn't have or shouldn't feel, but they're actually also just appearances of open intelligence. We can take a short moment with that. That's at least possible. And then it will go deeper with the next empowerments. It's almost easier, unless you have an urgency with this relationship, to deal with something, to actually just to go through the empowerments. That'll be more the effortless way to open up with, open up, meaning to open and see the changes naturally come about.
Well, you've just hit on 2 points that I already noticed some ease, and that is there's this idea that taking short moments is supposed to lead to this, what it often leads to, which is just this loving, peaceful expanse of acceptance and inclusion. And I almost often forget what even prompted the open moment. Because often it's the discomfort for me that prompts me taking a short moment. And I'm grateful that it does. But I think I was sort of putting the cart before the horse and thinking, I need it to feel loving. It's supposed to feel loving and expansive from taking a short moment. And I think it was bypassing just these other feelings that you said, which is one, the hurt just didn't want to be, the hurt wanted to be a short moment with the hurt is kind of like being with the hurt.
Yeah.
Is it kind of like accepting the hurt rather than jumping to the way I think I should feel or want to feel?
Yeah.
And there's so something in me is resisting, like, hey, no, I don't push me. And then two, the idea of I don't want to take a short moment, but you should want to take a short moment. You need to want to take a short moment. And all those little layers of data that I wasn't even aware were data that are pushing. And so just to kind of to see that is helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Thank you for sharing. It's powerful. And Caroline, it's nice to see you. Did you have a question or anything you wanted to share?
No, I really appreciate being here and listening to everyone's stories and understanding more about open intelligence. It's a journey I haven't started yet, so I'm looking forward to learning more and maybe starting my journey of my own. I'm coming away with lots of observations and parallels to some of the things that I am doing, so that's nice.
Nice.
I'm understanding, and maybe I'll share this observation. You can tell me I'm off center here, but it's almost like appreciating the white space instead of all of the different things or elements that are in our environment. It's the white space that's always there and has a nature of its own that's calming and steady. But sometimes we don't look at the white space. We only appreciate the things that are coming at us. So that's my observation for today.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's instinctively recognizing that. Yeah, great. Thank you for sharing that. Great. See anyone else before we pause for today? And next time we can go then to empowerments 4 to 10. Sweep through them to the best of our ability. Nice space, white space. Yeah. There's lots of text in the 12 empowerments, also the basic space. White space. It's nice, yes. Great. Okay, well, I guess we'll pause here for today, and thank you all for being here, and see you next week, same time next week. Yep, perfect.
Take
Thank
care,
you,
everybody.
everyone.
So good to see you all.
Thank you both
Thank
so
you,
much.
Kathy. You can.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so much.